coming to the end of your mat, if you need to sit yourself on some blocks or pillows, last week we talked a lot about alternative positions for hips. So you could try the trick of kind of lying some books next to each other, or blocks if you've got them. Sit yourself to one end so it lifts you out of those hips, but also as you roll back, it's going to give you a little bit of support for the back of the pelvis as well. So that can sometimes help. Or if you need to, rather than having the legs flat, just soften the knees slightly. You could roll up a towel, create yourself a bit of a bolster, pop it behind the back of the knees so it's giving you a little bit of support there, flexing slightly, or just draw those feet in as close as you need to take some of that strain out of the hips. So wherever you find comfortable, work there, maybe play with it if you need to. We're going to take our band and pop it around the feet. So make sure it is around your feet, not just around your toes, so that it's not going to ping off, it's nice and secure. Roughly the same length either end, holding on and drawing the arms in alongside you. So watch how much resistance you have in the band, because you want to avoid the shoulders creeping up around your ears. So loosen it off, don't have too much resistance. Tuck those arms in, feel nice and open across the chest. Feel that you are lifting out of the hips, lengthening through the spine. And we're just going to come into a couple of rollbacks to start off. We're going to challenge our abdominals and we're going to hold the position. So let's take a breath in to tuck the tail under, start tucking the chin towards the chest. So you gently round the spine into a C curve. And then as you breathe out, start to gently rock yourself back. So don't go too far, finding where you feel you can hold it, legs nice and heavy, arms tucked in, shoulders relaxed, and hold it here. Take 3 deep breaths into the rib cage. And on your last exhale, when you're ready, slowly roll yourself back up, building the spine and lifting out of the hips. Let's just do it one more time. So breathing in again into your C curve, tucking the tail, tucking the chin, and breathing out as you gently rock back. Legs heavy, hold it there, 3 deep breaths. Feel those deep abdominals engaged. If it's a little bit too much, bring yourself up slightly. And again on that last exhale, rolling up, stacking the spine, lifting up and out of the hips. This time we're just going to add some rotation. So you're going to rotate towards me, we'll be mirroring each other. So we're going to think about drawing back slightly on one side as we twist. So again, take a breath into C curve. And this time as you breathe out, rock back and just gently twist to one side, drawing the band back slightly with you. Hold it there, 3 deep breaths. So again, challenging those down abdominals, working into the waist slightly here, legs heavy. And again, on that last exhale, start to roll yourself back up. And again, stack through the spine. Same to the other side. Breathing into C curve. Breathing out, roll back and twist to the opposite side, pulling the band slightly with you. Hold it there, 3 deep breaths. Again, if it's too far, bring yourself up slightly. Fold those knees if you're really feeling it in the hips. Last breath out, start to roll yourself up. And stack through the spine. A little bit of a challenge now. So we're going to take the arms out. So you're creating a longer lever with the arms, which is slightly more challenging. So if you need to keep the arms tucked in, that's absolutely fine. But if you can, take those arms out. So into almost a big V shape in front of you. Slightly lower than the shoulders, don't go too high. Holding onto the ends of the band. And we're going to do that twist again and bring the arms with you. So taking a breath in again into C curve. Let the shoulders round slightly with you. breathing out as you roll back and twist again. So the hand coming down towards the floor and the other hand towards the ceiling, following into the twist. Hold it here, 3 deep breaths. You're challenging those shoulders now as well. If it's too much, tuck the arms in. And again on that last exhale, roll yourself up. Stack through the spine and same to the other side. Breathing into C-curve. Breathing out as we rock back and twist. Take the arms with you into that rotation. Hold it there. 3 deep breaths. On the last exhale, rolling up. Stack the spine, lift out the hips, and you can tuck those arms back in. Well done. So we're going to come into a movement called rolling like a ball. This is different to Monday. This is a new one, bit of a challenge. So walk your hands down the band towards your feet and tuck them in towards you, okay? And we're going to come into a stability exercise, but also an abdominal exercise to mobilize the spine. So we're going to roll ourselves into a ball. I'm going to quickly talk these through, so have a quick look. So I've walked my hands down, so the band is nice and tight around my feet. It's going to help with positioning. You're going to have to gently rock on the pelvis so that you can lift your feet off the floor and tuck yourself, round yourself into a ball. So I've tucked my tailbone under, I've tucked the chin towards my chest and rounded the shoulders. So you can see that I've got a nice C curve, rounded spine. What you want to avoid is lifting the head and flicking it back, or flattening out the back and just hitting the floor, because that's going to be uncomfortable. So you need to keep this nice rounded spine, and what we're going to do is roll ourselves back and bring ourselves up. Okay, we're only going to do 6. They're quite fun, quite nice. Try and take yourself down through the center of the spine, avoid rolling off to the left or the right. So, feet off the floor, gently find that balance on the back of the pelvis, holding onto the band, round the spine. So really tuck yourself into a nice ball, and we're going to breathe in as we roll back and breathe out as you come back up to balance. Breathing in to roll back, breathing out to come up. They're quite fun. The band should really help you to keep that positioning. Keep it tight. Don't let it go. Keep the arms tucked in. Lovely. Just a couple more. Quite challenging. Last one. Lovely. Lower the feet to the floor. Well done. They're quite fun. Quite a challenge. And you're probably feeling warm now after those. So, keeping the band around your feet, but you can bring your hands to the ends of the band now. And we're just going to do a little mini roll back, just so you can bring your elbows down onto the floor and prop yourself up. So we did this on Monday. If you found it challenging, feel free to lie yourself all the way back to the floor if you feel that you need to. That's absolutely fine. But if you can, prop yourself up on the elbows, holding on to the ends of the band. First off, good form. So try and avoid sinking into the shoulders and flattening your back into the floor. So think about trying to lift the chest, come out of the shoulders, take the weight down to the back of your pelvis and your tailbone. So try and avoid flattening your lower back and sinking into the floor. And we're going to lift the feet and come into a double knee fold position. So if this is too much, lower yourself back to the floor. That's absolutely fine, okay? So we're going to come into a double leg stretch here, quite challenging. We're going to really work into the legs and the hips. So take a breath, and as you breathe out, we're going to stretch, extend the legs into the band, up towards the ceiling. Breathing in as you fold the knees. Breathing out as you stretch and extend into the band. And breathing in as you fold the knees. Lovely, going to sit. Breathing out as you extend the legs. And breathing in as you fold the knees. 3 more. So getting a nice little hamstring stretch. Warming up those legs a little bit. Try and avoid sinking into those shoulders. Lovely. With your last one, extend those legs up and hold them there if you can. We're going to do a lift and lower. So take a breath, breathing out as you start to lower the legs towards the floor, and only go as far as you feel comfortable, because you need to bring them all the way back up as you breathe in. Breathing out as you lower, breathing in as you lift. A lot of work for the hips. Go steady. Just going for 6 of these. Try and keep extending the legs, pushing the feet into the band. Again, avoid sinking into the shoulders. Try and avoid flattening the back into the floor unless you're lying yourself down. Bring those legs up, hold them here. And we're going to come into a bit of rocking, tick-tock movement. Feel that this is coming from your pelvis, from your hips. You're going to lift one side of the pelvis and just take the legs over to one side. Roll it back to the center, and now lift the opposite side to roll in the opposite direction. So we breathe in, roll to the center, breathing out as we roll over. Breathing in to the center, breathing out as you roll over. One more on each side. Make sure that you're rolling through the pelvis, not in your lower back. Lovely. Bring it to the center. Fold those knees. Legs are probably feeling quite warm now. You can take your left foot out of the band, place it onto the floor, and just slowly now lower yourself all the way down onto the floor, keeping your right foot in the band. So just take a moment, anchor the back of the arms down into the floor. Find that supporting foot, spread it down into the mat, finding your neutral spine, neutral pelvis, and we're just going to come into a nice little hamstring stretch again for this right leg. So take a breath and breathing out as you extend that leg up into the band. Hold it there for 3 deep breaths. Flexing the foot, pulling toes towards you. Try and avoid flattening the lower back into the floor. Maintain neutral, so you might need to adjust. And on the last exhale, we're going to open the legs out. So the supporting leg can also join in. So you're opening up the hips and the inner thighs. Hold it there. 3 deep breaths. On the last exhale, drawing it back to the center. Now, if you need to, if you have any sciatic pain, repeat what we just did. But if you can, we're now going to cross over the midline slightly. So you might need to walk your supporting foot down and away slightly, but you're going to cross the legs over. You're not going to be able to go too far. Both legs trying to cross over. Hold it there. Take 3 deep breaths. And if it gets too much, just fold the knee slightly and then come back into that stretch. And bringing it back to the center when you're ready. We're just going to do a little stretch into the ankle now. So try and roll onto the outer border of your foot. So you're rolling the ankle slightly in the band. Hold it there, 3 deep breaths. A small stretch, but it does a lot of work. And with your last exhale, return that foot to a neutral position in the band. We're going to send the left leg away now. So lengthen it out along the floor. Anchor it down so it's giving you some stability. We're going to come into leg circles, 3 in each direction. So let's take the leg out to the side, sweep it down and all the way around. 2 more. Breathe in to start the circle. Breathe out to finish. And a little bit of movement through the pelvis, but not too much. 3 in the opposite direction when you're ready. Keep it small if you need to. Really working in that hip. And bring it to a stop when you're ready. Fold the knee. Bring that supporting leg in. And we're going to change sides. So you can bring your left foot into the band and take your right foot down to the floor. Well done. Okay, so again, back of the arms anchored down onto the floor. Relax the shoulders. finding neutral spine and pelvis again. Coming into a hamstring stretch, so breathing in and out. Extend the leg into the band, pull the toes towards you, hold it there, 3 deep breaths. Try and avoid flattening the lower back into the floor. On the last exhale, when you're ready, opening the legs out and away from each other, feeling that stretch on the inside of the legs. Hold it there, 3 deep breaths. Again, if you need to, just fold the knees slightly and then come back into the stretch if you can. Or don't hold it for as long as if needed. On the last exhale, bring it back to the center. As I said, on the other side, any sciatic pain, repeat that one again, or if you can now, cross the legs over the midline slightly. You might feel it in the glute as well as in your hip. 3 deep breaths. And release, bring yourself back to the center. Little stretch into the ankle, so roll onto the outer border of your foot as much as you can. Hold it there, 3 deep breaths. And when you're ready, release, bring that foot back to a neutral position in the band. Lengthen the right leg away, anchor it down to support you, and our leg circles, 3 in each direction. Taking the leg out to the side, sweep it down and around. Breathing in to start the circle, breathing out to finish. Let the band support you. As big or as small as you feel comfortable, working into that hip. A little bit of movement through the pelvis, but not too much. When you're ready, bring it to a stop. Fold the knee and slide that supporting foot back in towards you. Well done. You can take your foot out of the band, place it to the floor, and you can now just take the band briefly across the front of the hips, and if you need to, just for a second, have a quick little release stretch. Hug those knees in towards you, because you've just done a lot in those hips. So if you want to, quick little release stretch, nice deep breath, and then return the feet to the floor, hip width and parallel. So the band is coming across the front of your hips now. So try and flatten it out and place it across the front of your hips, the spine curls. We're going to anchor it down to the floor. So I would start with less resistance and then add if you need to, because otherwise you'll give yourself a challenge from the first one. So holding on to the band and anchor it down to the floor with your hands and just feel it there across the front of your hips. So as we come into spine curls, you're going to feel a little bit of resistance with the band. So checking you're in neutral. Let's take a breath in to prepare. Breathing out as you start to gently tilt through the pelvis and continue to then peel the spine off the floor and start to feel that you're working against the resistance of the band as you come into your bridge position. You'll feel the back of the arms having to work as well to keep the band down. So if it is too much, loosen it off slightly, that's fine. Taking a breath in at the top and breathing out as we take it back down, bone by bone. Returning the spine and the pelvis all the way back to neutral. Let's just do 2 more and then we'll add to it. So breathing in and out, gently tilt through the pelvis, peeling the spine away, feeling the band across the front of your hips. Breathing in at the top and breathing out as we work it down. So 1 more. You can add resistance or you can loosen it off if you need to. So just getting those hips working a little bit harder. Bringing it down, returning yourself to neutral. And now we're going to do 3 more, but we're going to incorporate a rib cage closure, so working into the shoulders as well.
So you can hold on to the band now a little bit tighter, and you can let the arms slightly come off the floor with you now as you come into spine curl. So don't worry too much about the resistance now across the front of the hips. So again, let's take a breath in, breathing out, gently tilt through the pelvis, again peeling yourself off the floor. So let the arms just come with you slightly as you're holding onto the band. Find the height, stand into the feet. Now take a breath in as you lift and float the arms over the head, holding onto the band, and then breathing out as you work down through the spine, through the back of the rib cage, working it down, pelvis back to neutral, and then breathing in to float the band back down across the front of the hips, and breathing out as we spine curl up again. Peeling away, lifting through the hips, standing into the feet. When you're ready, take a breath in as you lift and float the band over your head, and breathing out as we work it down through the spine. Bone by bone, all the way back to neutral. Breathing in, take the band down, and last time, breathing out again as we spine curl up. When you're ready, breathing in, taking the band over the head, and breathing out, work it down. So from the top of the spine, all the way down, settling to neutral, floating the arms all the way down, and rest. And you can take the band away, pop it to one side. And we're now going to come into a quick kind of dynamic flow of movements for the hips, but also a little bit of abdominals. So we're going to flow 3 movements together. If you were in Monday's class, then you'll know what we're going to do. So we're going to aim for a single leg stretch, into a double leg stretch, and then into our crisscross. So I'll quickly recap those exercises for you so you know what you're going for. If you want to, keep your upper body on the floor, and you can just work the legs if you prefer. But if you can, you'll be coming into your single leg stretch first off. So you draw one leg in, send the opposite leg away. So single leg stretch. Then transition into double leg stretch, arms and legs. And then transitioning into the crisscross. So working the obliques, sending the opposite leg away. Okay, so we're going to flow it together quite quickly. We're going to do 8 of each. If you need to do less, that's absolutely fine. If it gets too much, have a rest. Maybe bring your upper body down to the floor if you need to. So first off, let's take the legs up into double knee fold. So one leg at a time, floating up, finding double knee fold. So check your alignment. Make sure that you haven't flattened the lower back into the floor just yet. We're going to take a breath in, breathing out, tuck the chin, curling up if you're happy to come up through the upper body. Just check that you don't tilt through the pelvis. So feeling the weight towards your tailbone still. We're going to draw one leg in towards us a little bit closer, and we're going to send the opposite leg away. Breathing in as you come in, breathing out as you switch over. Keep it going. Breathing in and out to send the leg away. 4 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Double leg stretch. Send arms and legs away into a V. Breathe out as you extend away. 4 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands behind the head for crisscross. Twist, send the opposite leg away. Breathe out as you twist. 4 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it to the center. Lower the upper body down. Then the legs one at a time. Woo, and let's take it into a nice big full body stretch, reaching out to either end of the room. Well done. Just getting that heart rate up, a little bit more dynamic. A little bit of flow to the movement there. So take a couple of nice deep breaths in. Stretch yourself out. And floating the arms
So come back down by your side and then tuck those feet in towards you. Well done. Okay, we're going to roll onto our side now. So just take a moment to transition, roll yourself onto your side. So we're going to come into a front kick. I'm just going to grab a quick drink, bear with me. Okay, so coming onto our side now, you can work with the legs in a chair position. So roughly finding a right angle with the legs. This is a slightly more stable position. If you want to, you can work with the legs fully extended, but that's entirely up to you. I'm going to demonstrate here. If you need to, maybe place a pillow or a towel in between your head and your arm. If you feel like you need a little bit more lift out of the shoulder to bring your head and neck in line with your spine, then just try placing a pillow there. Just take a moment to find length through both sides of the body. So feel that you're pulling that top hip away from you and lifting in the underside. So drawing in through the center, engaging those abdominals. So I'm going to quickly demonstrate these. I know some of you did them Monday. I'll do a quick recap for you. So you'll be lifting and lengthening the leg, drawing it back behind you. So you're working here the front of the hip as you extend that leg back behind you. You're then going to sweep the leg forward, flex the foot and kick. 1, 2. So on that second kick, you come a little bit further and then breathing in as you pull it back and breathing out as you kick forward, okay? The breathing's quite important and it's quite quick, okay? We're going to aim for 8. So with that top leg, let's lift and lengthen away. First off, in line with the body, just find that nice length, reaching out through the toes. As you breathe in, start to draw that leg back behind you slightly. Keep this front bottom leg anchored down. As you breathe out, flex the foot, kick forward, 1, 2. Breathing in, point the toes, draw it back. Breathing out, sweep forward, kick. Breathing in, drawing it back. Breathing out, kick forward. Breathing in, draw it back. Number 4 coming up. Keep it going. Last 2. Draw it back in line with the body and fold the leg back in. Well done. A lot of work in that hip. If you want to, you can just roll yourself over onto the other side, or if you need to, just take a moment to sit yourself up and bring yourself round onto the opposite side so you can be facing me. And on this side, I'll demonstrate the slightly different positioning. So again, if you need to, feel free to have the legs in that chair position or lengthening the legs fully if you want to. This is more challenging, so don't feel that you have to. So if you're in this position, you need to bring your bottom leg forward slightly. So you almost scissor the legs. So I would bring your bottom leg to maybe that front corner of the mat slightly. And just watch that you don't roll the hips and the pelvis forward. So whichever position you're in, just lift and lengthen that top leg again, ensuring that you've got that nice length, a little bit of lift in that underside. Again, you're going to draw the leg back, so you're working in the hip there, and then sweeping it forward, kick, 1, 2. Breathing in, draw it back, and breathing out. Breathing in, draw it back. Breathing out. Breathing in, draw it back. Lovely, number 4. Breathing in. 4 more. If you need to, fold that bottom knee. Bring it back to chair position if you need to. And our last one. Bringing it back in line with the body. Lower the leg, fold it back in. Well done. Have a little breather for a second. Whew. Hips are feeling it. We're going to roll onto our front now. So let's just take a moment to transition ourselves round onto our front. Move pillows and things out the way if needed.
And we're going to work into a little bit of extension now, not just for the upper body, but also into the hip extensors slightly as well. So take the legs out the width of your mat if you can, as long as that feels comfortable. If not, bring them in slightly. But about the width of your mat, feel that you're lengthening them out behind you, reaching out through your toes. Hands coming into a wide W shape. So we're setting ourselves up for cobra here. So hands just outside of the mat and roughly in line with your ears, not too far forward or too far down. So feel that you can relax the shoulders, connect them on the back, so draw them down. And just take a moment to feel that you're settling the front of your pelvis and scooping the tummy out of the floor. So you're engaging the abdominals. So we're just going to come into our cobra prep first of all, so mobilizing the upper spine, keeping it quite small. And what I want you to think is a little bit of opposition. So feel that as you come up, you're pressing your hands gently into the floor and drawing them down towards you at the same time as you lengthen out through the top of the head. So we're getting a little bit of opposition as you start to come out of the floor. So let's take a breath in to prepare. Breathing out, feel that you gently press your hands into the floor, draw them back towards you as you roll the nose, lengthen out through the top of the head, and just coming out of the floor into that very gentle extension towards the bottom of the rib cage. Taking a breath in and breathing out as you work it back down and return yourself to the floor. So again, breathing in and out. Gently press into the floor. Draw the hands towards you as you lengthen out through the top of the head. Feel that you're trying to bring your head out of your shoulders. Breathing in and out as we take it down. Let's go for 3 more. So that little bit of pressure through the hands, connecting the shoulders on the back. Avoid pressing yourself up. Think about length rather than height. Trying to keep length through the back of your neck. So avoid taking your head too far. Keep your eye line down at the floor. And hopefully you shouldn't be feeling it in your lower back. If you are, you need to engage those abdominals a little bit more and really avoid pushing up. So maybe keep it a little bit smaller. Feel that you're lengthening out the legs behind you at the same time. So quite a lot to think about with these. And just finish your last one. Bring yourself back down and into the floor. Now feel free to stay at that level if you want to. Only come up to that prep position, but if you can, we'll come all the way out of the floor into full extension this time. So again, taking a breath, breathing out, press gently through the hands, draw them back, lengthening out through the top of the head. And this time, if you can, continue to come out of the floor. So extending the arms, coming out of the floor, looking towards the front end of your mat, and just avoid those shoulders creeping up around your ears. So again, draw them down the back, connect them on the back. Feel it just lifting slightly through the front of the pelvis. Taking a breath in. And as you breathe out, start to control yourself down. Elbows first. Rib cage, chest. And as the head comes down, now lift both legs out of the floor. So lengthen and lift the legs into a hover. Taking a breath. Breathing out as you lower the legs and start to come back up and out of the floor into your cobra. So we're going to flow those 2 movements together, a bit of a seesaw effect. So breathing in and out, working it down from your cobra, elbows, rib cage, chest. As the head comes down, lifting the legs into a hover, breathing in and out, lowering the legs as you start to come out of the floor again and into your cobra. Flow it together, breathing in and out, working it down from your cobra. As you come down, lifting the legs. Let's do a couple more if you can. If it's too much, keep the legs heavy and just work on the upper spine. Work at the prep level of your cobra if you prefer. You don't have to come all the way up if it's a little bit too much. Let's do our last one, last little cobra. And our last leg lift. And then lower it down. Bring the legs to the floor. Keeping yourself in this position for a little bit longer. We're just going to target the shoulders here. So you've done a lot of work through the spine and through the hips, so we'll just take a moment for the shoulders. Keeping the hands in that wide W shape, and try and keep your head on the floor and just work into the arms and the shoulders. So take a breath, and as you breathe out, just lift the arms slightly off of the floor. So into a hover, maybe an inch or two off the floor, keeping your head down. Now as you breathe in, try and lift a little bit higher and feel that you squeeze the shoulder blades together on your back. Breathing out as you lower back to the hover and breathing in again as you lift and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Breathing out as you lower, feel the shoulder blades spread across the back. Breathing in as you lift, squeeze together. Breathing out as you lower back to the hover. 3 more. So really focus into the shoulders. A lovely movement to strengthen the back of the shoulders. And really great if you do a lot of sitting to get yourself out of the hunched over, rounded shoulders. 1 more. And lower the arms all the way down. Let them rest onto the floor. And you can now bring your hands in front and rest your forehead onto your hands. We're going to do a little bit of glute work here. So we're just going to fold the knees and bring your heels together. I call these frog's legs, probably not the technical name, but frog's legs is what I tend to call them. So you can rest your upper body, relax your shoulders, keep your forehead on your hands. And we're just going to think about pressing the heels together and feeling the glutes switch on. So just take a breath. And as you breathe out, start to press your heels together. Feel that your glutes respond and switch on. They tighten. Hold it there for 3, 2, 1, and then release and let the glutes relax. And again, breathe in and out. Press the heels, feel the glutes switch on. Hold it there. 3, 2, 1, and release. Just a couple more. Breathe in and out. Gently press. Feel the glutes switch on. Hold it there. 3, 2, 1, and release. Last time. So try and switch both sides on at the same time. You might have one side that's a bit stronger that switches on first. Try and switch both glutes on at the same time. Let's do it one more time for luck. Why not? Buns of steel, ladies. Holding it for 3, 2, 1, and release. And you can lower the legs all the way down, back onto the floor. Well done. Okay. Ooh, so we've already done a lot of work. We're now going to do a little bit more. So bringing the legs in slightly, hip width and parallel. We're going to bring ourselves up onto the elbows. And we're going to come into a plank. So a fantastic exercise because it's working everything. Full body exercise, this one. Really great for abdominals. So you can do this on your elbows, or if you want to, feel free to come onto the hands and do a full plank if you want to. The lower level on the elbows is slightly easier, so work wherever you feel comfortable. And just a tip for your feet, you need to tuck your toes. If you've got socks on and you've got a slippy floor, just go careful that you're not going to slip. So do maybe shuffle forward, make sure that your toes are on the mat, okay, so that you don't slip. We're going to go for a test run of 10 seconds. And then I've got a timer in front of me and we'll go for 30 seconds if we can. So first off, we want good form. So we're thinking a nice long line. So avoid bums in the air and really think that's scooping your tummy in, drawing your belly button towards your spine. So let's take a breath. And as you breathe out, start to lift the hips, come up into your plank. Hold it there for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and control it down. Try to avoid collapsing. Okay, so I've got a timer in front of me. We're going to aim going for 30 seconds. My main tip is to keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. If you get to 10 seconds and you need to stop, that's absolutely fine. Just come up again when you're ready. So let's take a breath. Breathing out, scoop the tummy in, lift the hips, come into your plank, and off we go. 30 seconds if you can. Keep breathing. Focus your eye line down, get your hands at the floor. You've done 10 seconds. Keep it going. Draw the tummy in. Keep breathing. Focus on the breath. 20 seconds. And 30. Lower it down. Whew. Well done. I bet you're glad I had a timer. Okay, from there, let's push ourselves back into our rest position. Have a little release out of that position, out of extension. Bring yourself back. If you need to, open up the knees and open up the hips. Prop yourself up with pillows. So you need to be able to rest in this position to give the muscles a chance to release. So if you're struggling to sit yourself back, grab pillows, prop yourself up behind the back of your knees, underneath your head, so that you can really settle yourself and let the body just take a moment to release. And focus on taking some nice deep breaths. Breathing wide and full into the rib cage, into the sides and the back. And from here, with your next breath out, just draw yourself up onto the hands, coming into all fours. And just take a moment to set yourself up. Equal weight over the hands and over the knees, finding the natural curves of the spine, lengthening out through the top of the head and out through your tail. So we're just going to come into an exercise for a little bit of stamina first. So it's known as tabletop. We've done them before. Stage 1 of tabletop is just lengthening and lifting the leg in line with the body. Stage 2 is leg and opposite arm. So feel free to work at stage 1 or stage 2. We're going to hold it for 3 breaths, okay? And really focus on engaging abdominals, but trying to keep the hips square and facing down towards the floor. So you want to avoid rolling the pelvis, okay? So let's just take a moment first to lengthen away. So not lifting, just lengthening. So take a breath. And breathing out as you lengthen leg and opposite arm as well if you want to. So just away from the center. And now inhale as you prepare. And exhale as you lift in line with the body. And hold it here. 3 deep breaths. Drawing in through the center. Engage the abdominals. And on the last exhale, lower it down. And bring the hand and the knee back underneath you. Same on the other side. So again, you could work with just the leg, or if you're happy, arm and leg, let's just lengthen away. Hold it there, take a breath in. And as you breathe out, lift in line with the body, hold it here, 3 breaths. Hips square, try not to roll. And again, when you're ready, lower it down, hand and knee, back underneath you. Well done. Okay. Nice bit of work now through the spine, coming into some flexion and extension. So we're going to come into cat stretch, and I normally say to initiate from your tail, but I'm actually going to change it slightly. We're going to initiate with the head and the tail together. So both ends of the spine helping to initiate into our cat stretch. So let's take a breath in and breathing out as you tuck the head and the tail and round yourself into that nice long C curve coming into your cat stretch. Hold it there as you breathe in. And now breathing out as we unravel the head and the tail together and come through into extension, slightly hanging in the mid-back. Breathing in and out, head and tail together into cat stretch. And breathing in and out to unravel into extension. One more time. Breathing in and out to come into cat. Breathing in and out to come into your extension, and we're going to hold it here. We're going to take a breath in, breathing out as you now rock yourself back towards your heels. Keep the extension for as long as you can, and as you sit yourself back, you can start to tuck the tail, tuck the chin, gently round the spine into your rest position. Take a breath in, and breathing out as you keep the shape of the spine and draw yourself forward into your cat stretch, that nice long curve. Breathing in and out as we unravel, coming back into extension. Hold it here, breathing in and out. Rock yourself back to rest position and gently flex and round the spine. Breathing in and out, draw yourself forward, keeping that nice flex of the spine. Breathing in and out to unravel into extension. And again, breathe in and out, rock back. Flexing the spine into rest position. As you breathe out, drawing yourself forward into your cat. Let's do it one more time. Into extension. Back to rest position. Flexing the spine into cat stretch. And now just unravel and bring yourself to neutral, lengthening out through the head and the tail and equal weight over the hands and the knees. We're just going to slowly sit back to the heels and just come into kneeling. And because we've done a lot with the hips, I'm going to put in a hip flexor stretch here. So we're just going to come up into high kneeling. I know it's cut the top of my head off, but don't worry, you don't need my head for this one. So we're in high kneeling. We're going to bring the right foot forward in front of us. So you just want good positioning here before you come into the stretch. So make sure that your left knee is directly underneath the hip. Okay, so you've got good positioning there. And with your right leg in front, the knee and the ankle joints are in line. So ankle underneath knee. You don't want the foot too far forward or too close. Okay, you want to find that right angle there with the knee. Hips are square, facing the wall in front of you. We're just going to do a couple of pelvic tilts first of all. So you can bring your hands around your hips if you want to. And we're just going to gently tilt through the pelvis. So think about tilting, sending the tailbone out behind you. Stick your bottom back slightly. And now tilt and bring the tailbone underneath pubic bone, drawing forward. So you're tilting through the pelvis. And just a couple more. And you might already feel a stretch in the front of that hip, just doing pelvic tilts. Okay, it's quite a nice way of just preparing yourself before you come into the stretch and finding good positioning. So a couple of pelvic tilts, and then just let yourself settle now, find neutral. So the tailbone is slightly tucked under, you're stacked through the spine, finding neutral. And if you want to, continue with pelvic tilts, or this time you can let yourself come forward, keeping that good positioning. So avoid just pushing the hips forward and dumping into the stretch. Bringing yourself forward, stacked over the pelvis, lengthened up through the spine, and now feel it in the hip. If you can, hold it there and take some deep breaths. If it's too much, come out of it and then come back. Or go back to pelvic tilts if that feels easier. So what you want to avoid is this, and rounding and coming over that front knee. and you want to avoid leaning back and pushing your hips forward. So feel that you're nicely stacked above your pelvis. And now let's just bring ourselves back and take that right foot underneath, and now the left foot forward. So same again, right knee underneath you, and that left ankle and knee in line. Start with those pelvic tilts again, so the hips are square, facing the wall in front. Gently tilting, sending the tailbone out behind you, and tilting, bringing the tailbone under, pubic bone forward. Gently rocking. Might feel different on one side, a little bit tighter one side. Again, you might already feel it in that hip just by doing pelvic tilts. Settle yourself, tailbone tucked under, nicely stacked again, through the pelvis and up through the spine. Take a breath, breathing out as you come forward into that stretch again, staying nicely stacked over the pelvis. Avoid hinging your body forward over the front leg or leaning back and pushing your hips forward. Hold it if you can, take some deep breaths. Again, if it's too much, come out of it. Lovely, and just come out of that stretch slightly, but you can keep the foot in front of you. We're just going to use that foot now to help push ourselves up into standing. So tuck the toes under behind you. You can use that front leg now to push yourself off and come up into standing. Well done. I'm going to turn my camera around. I feel very warm. It's got very warm in here. Right, and we'll just do a couple of roll downs to finish. So well done. We've done a lot of work. Finish it off now with a couple of roll downs. So feet hip width and parallel, standing nice and tall, taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, nodding the head, letting the shoulders roll forward, and continue to roll down through the spine. Really let go of your head and your arms, working through the spine. When you run out of spine, feel that you fold in the hips to take yourself a little bit further, knees nice and soft, taking a breath in when you're ready, and breathing out as we start to roll up. So we need to feel that we unfold the hips, so feel that they open here at the front, and then start to stack pelvis, rib cage, and head on top. And let's do one more to finish. Breathing in and out, nod, roll the shoulders, and roll it down. Focusing on that nice movement, roll yourself forward, weight over the toes, breathing in and out as we roll it back up. Again, feel that you open those hips and stack through the spine. Feel that you're lifting yourself out of the feet. We're going to grow a little bit taller, drawing the shoulders back, opening the chest, feeling the head settle on top of the spine, lengthening up to the ceiling. And just take one final deep breath. Well done. We are finished.